Look out. Here comes more snow and dangerously low temperatures. The Northeast getting hammered this year, and the green crowd says blame it all on global warming. Or wait, why do I keep saying that? I mean climate change. Gary B., the government's spending big money to go green. Necessary?
Absolutely not, Brenda. And you know, I love how it all was. When did it go from global warming to climate change? In fact, isn't climate change something we have every single day? I mean, it's a little hotter, it's a little cooler, it snows. But you know what? It's not so much the science, Brenda. It's the science of predictions. You know, I went back through some of the predictions that made by scientists, climatologists. Remember in 1970, Brenda, maybe you and I were maybe the only ones around, they predicted an ice age by 2000. Yes. In 1999, Himalayan glaciers would be gone in 10 years. In 2007, they said global warming, it was still called that back then, would cause fewer hurricanes. In 2012, they said global warming will cause more hurricanes. So the science, if you will, is all over that. But Brenda, you only need to do one thing, like old Woodward and Bernstein, follow the money. In 1992, we spent as a country $1 billion on climate change, research, clean energy, all that stuff. Now we're spending over $21 billion. Scientists are like anyone else, Brenda. If they can make a case, whether it's fudging the numbers or making, you know, these silly predictions, they're going to, so they can get funded.
Okay, Nomi, what do you say?
You are entirely wrong. The Global Humanitarian Forum in 2009 predicted, and this is true, that we would lose $125 billion per year, 300,000 deaths per year globally because of climate change. 99.97% of scientists around the world, except for a few outliers who've been kicked out of the scientific community, disagree with you. This is not an article, this is not an argument anymore. This is not a debate. You know, we have record temperatures, record highs. We have, Tornado Alley has never seen so many tornadoes as they did last year. We have more hurricanes.
These scientists are just as fickle as my 13-year-old daughter. They can't make up their mind because you know why it went from global warming to climate change? Snow came down. It came pouring down. So much for the warm temperatures.
Boston
Throw that
has been hit harder than ever.
They don't
Who
know
pays
what
for that?
they're talking about.
Taxpayers.
Look, temperatures are cyclical. Ask any weather person. First they're warm for a while, then they're cold for a little bit, and this has been happening through the test of time. This is much like Greenpeace said my kids were never going to see snow. Ha! Now they wish Greenpeace was right.
Jonas, what do you say? Are we spending too much money on this?
Let's pretend that a third of the science is totally made up by crazy green scientists. For the sake of argument, Alton Road in Miami Beach, they've been redoing for a year because the sea level is higher than it was 30 years ago. It is sinking underwater, and they have to spend millions of dollars to fix it like they will with the whole city, which is going underwater in 50 years. That is just in front of me. That's got nothing to do with the Paraguay temperature sensor.
Right.
We have to start worrying about how we're going to fix our coastal cities. It doesn't matter who's causing it. We can't even agree in America that you're never going to get other countries like China to come on the same page. So we might as well start coming up with the expensive technological solutions to make our cities like Venice so they don't go underwater, because we're going to have to do it.
Okay, but John, that's different than saying that global warming or climate change or whatever it is causing this and funding that with our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, look, I can't believe Gary B. is such a skeptic. Look, science has been right. I mean, look what they said about Ebola. It's going to kill billions. And don't you get me started on Bigfoot, okay? Look, I am for doing something for the climate. I think we're putting too much CO2 emissions in the air. But the only reason that this is such a big deal is because the far left gives so much money to the Democrats, and they don't have a plan. All they want to do is punish fossil fuels instead of trying to figure out a way to bridge the future. I am for taking the CO2 emissions out of the air as much as we can, but there is no plan here. The only plan they have is let's go after coal, let's go after fossil fuels. What's your alternative? They don't have one.
Now, John, don't you tell me there is no Bigfoot, okay? I do not want to hear that. All right, Gary B., what do you think?
Well, you know, it's funny that I think Nomi mentioned snow. Maybe it was Tracy, and that was another prediction. In 2000, in the year 2000, climatologists said snow will be a thing of the past. I'm still waiting for that up in the Boston area if they think it's in the past. But here's the problem. If scientists can't predict the future, and it's like predicting the future of the stock market, it's almost impossible. Every dollar you spend then to combat something you think is going to happen is wasted money. It's like saying, put all your money right now in, the hottest stock because it's just going to keep going up forever. I mean, it's silliness. So really what all these scientists do, they want to keep their jobs like anyone else. They're like the government. They want to build this big power base. So give me the $1 million because if you don't, I'm not going to be able to figure out this catastrophe.
That's got to be the last word. Boy, I am shoveling a lot of imaginary snow these days. Okay, thanks, guys. Cashing in just over an hour from now. Eric, what do you guys have coming up?
Hi, Brenda. President Obama calling that terror attack on a kosher deli in Paris a random act. Wow. Is he taking PC to a new level? Plus, 50 Shades of Hypocrisy. Tinseltown liberals whip the American sniper, but love 50 Shades of Grey. Time to call out these hypocrites once and for all. Cashing in. See you at 11:30.
Thanks, Eric. We'll be watching, but up here first. The White House touting the economy and historically low gas prices. One problem, consumers aren't buying it. What do they see coming that Washington doesn't?